I'd like to share my thoughts for a few minutes on the topic of caring what other people think. So, caring too much about what other people think to the point where you're constantly getting knocked off your center. Because when you get knocked off your center easily, it's reflective of your own self-perception, so your own self-esteem and your own grounding within yourself. So it's worthy of taking a deeper look at this, because if you can shift it, it's going to allow you to move forward. Otherwise, you will always experience setbacks. So I always think that dealing with opposition is a natural part of life. It's part of our evolutionary development to come up against opposition, because the first thing that we can do when we face opposition is to ask ourselves, is there anything valid or important that I can extract from this situation? So it doesn't matter whether it's one person, 5 people, or 5,000 people. Always look to see if there's anything valid that you can take from the situation to improve what you're doing or how you're behaving, right? Always. So this is one of the ways that opposition is really good, because it challenges us. It challenges our position, right? Do we need to strengthen our position? Is our position weak? And is that why we're feeling that we're easily knocked down? So that's the first part of it. But the other part is also, if you're receiving or at the effect of negativity of other people, it's important also to understand that that's other people's stuff, that people get triggered. Every person has their own stuff going on. Like, we all make mistakes and we're always having to look at what we do. Like, that's just part of the human condition. And so we can have compassion, or at least separate ourselves from other people's stuff, right? It can be any number of things. If a person feels challenged or threatened in some way, that there's a value being threatened, I mean, it can be a number of different things in a number of different environments, whether it's the home environment with family values, perhaps something that you don't feel aligned with, or it can be in a workplace environment or a public environment, right? So this brings me to the next part, that if you're really grounded in who you are and have a strong sense of self, nothing can knock you off your center, because you know who you are, that you've already examined your values around what you're doing, right? Around who you are, how you're behaving, or perhaps something that you're doing specific, that you're either offering or doing. It could be work. I mean, it could be any number of things that you may get attacked around something that you're doing, right? And so this opposition is, as I say, it's just part of life, and we have to deal with it, because when we reach a place of opposition in our journey, we're either going to collapse under the opposition, where we don't feel strong enough to go forward, or that opposition will strengthen us. And when we can hold true to who we are and what we're doing, and we feel grounded and very sure of what we're doing, then this position can offer us an opportunity to strengthen who we are and what we're doing, right? So getting knocked down is just part of life. And the more you get knocked down, and the more you're willing to look at what you're doing, this is how you become stronger. Because opposition is never going to go away. All the way along the evolutionary process, we will always, always, always meet with opposition and the opinions of other people. It doesn't matter if it's one person that you're feeling that pressure from, or 500,000 people. It doesn't matter. It's all about your own self-perception, right? It's about how you feel about yourself and what you're doing. So if you feel weak and you're always feeling knocked down and getting into a place of self-doubt and a lack of confidence, this is certainly the point in the process where you want to examine why. There could be a pattern going on. It could be associated with an ongoing issue where you feel uncertain of what you're doing. And so this is where we do deep work on ourselves and continue to get real about what we're doing, how we're behaving, and getting into a place of constantly wanting to improve who we are and how we're operating in life. And we all make mistakes and do and say stupid things. Like, that's just a fact of life. And so coming into a soft place of acceptance, not going into denial, and really looking at things. So it's always helpful, I think, to get a pen and a piece of paper to examine any areas where you're feeling challenged, right? And where you're feeling particularly weakened when you're feeling challenged by other people, because it's just a fact of life. It's something that's going to come up again and again. So the question is this pressure going to take you off your game, or is it going to improve? And another important factor to look at is if you're coming from your heart. If you're coming from your heart and you're doing good things and you're in a place of expanding and being helpful, this is also very good. Because if you're getting challenged because you're doing things that are harmful to other people or just aren't nice, then you're going to get that feedback as well. And so we always have to listen to what's coming at us and make adjustments accordingly, right? It's always a good thing when we examine what we're doing, no matter what it is. So this could be an opportunity to do some deeper self-examination on yourself. And I have lots of other videos around how to do that, around self-forgiveness, around judgments, different processes and practices. And for me personally, many earlier versions of myself, this was a huge issue for me. And so that's why I started to get involved in the healing journey. Healing is part of my everyday life. I'm always looking at what I do and how I'm doing it to see how I can improve myself and improve what I'm doing. So I hope this video has been helpful if you find that you're always at the effect of what other people think. So thank you for listening, and I'll be back with more videos. Thanks.